Alright, so guys, so if you've already installed Git and GitHub into your Eclipse, the next step is to basically integrate your GitHub project, your repository, into your Git. So, we're going to go to File, Import, Git, Projects from Git. Now, we don't actually go to GitHub itself because it's going to search for it. We want to actually have a very, very specific URL. So put that in here. Now I already have all my passwords and details set, but you will need to create your own GitHub account with your own repository and basically put in your authentication details here. I strongly advise a strong password, especially if you plan to use your GitHub account for professional production. Next. So now it's going to get the remote branches. A little bit on remote branches. Basically, your Git client is going to have two copies. One copy will be on the website itself, and its own version on your computer. So the master branch refers to the actual core of your software. Typically, the master branch will be the latest version of the software, the latest stable version of your coding. So, and that's where all versions of your software will usually be built off of. Next, don't want to mess with any of these, although this is a change your Git repository directory. And this will be the directory of your project as well. We want to go with the initial branch of master as well. We don't want to mess with anything else here. We typically refer to the remote as origin, because it's the origin of the repository that you're going to generate. Next. Now we're going to import as a general project. The reason is because for some reason, and this was never fixed, there's a small bug when you import a Java project or try to create a Java project from your repository. Now I'm going to do another video how to change your import project into a Java project fairly easily. It takes only 30 seconds to do. But if you're not sure what you're doing, it can be fairly tricky. So import as general project. Next. Project file already exists in the user's Git video example. Okay. So we're going to have to import using existing Git projects instead. Next. Search for the project. Ah, there it is. Yeah, finish. And there we go. Now you're more than likely going to use a non-existent project already. But as you can see, the files from the Git repository have been downloaded and now installed here. If you right click, you'll see multiple different options. You go to team, this is how you integrate with GitHub. Everything here are all GitHub options. Commit is basically when you prepare files to be sent over to the website. Push is when you actually send them over. So when you commit, you're basically declaring to Git to get ready to put them up. And the pushing is actually when you put them up. Fetch is merely when you're updating. So in other words, if you made changes, say on another computer, or somebody else made changes to your repository, you fetch from it, or you pull. Pull and fetch are virtually the same, but you use them slightly differently. But there's no need, you usually would just need to use pull anyway. So remote, that is to interact with our website, and then our branches. Now, I'm going to create a new branch in this video later, a little bit later on. But I'm going to go to the rest of these options. Advanced. Now you're probably not going to mess with any of these here. Except for rename, maybe. But they're exactly what they describe. Synchronize is basically to make sure you're merging with your remote. Again, your remote being your origin, which being the repository and the website. So, the next step is to show hidden files. Now, the reason why you want to do that is because if you are sharing your code, your source code, with your fellow teammates, they're going to need your project file in order to recreate your version of the project on their Eclipse client. They're also going to need to see your class paths so that their Eclipse knows how to access the source files you produce for them, and the code you produce for them. Now, that's how you basically import a project, and that's how you use the project. Those are some of the options you have access to as well. So, let's say we want to make a change to license. We want to change the license to, I don't know, this random bunch of key letters. A few things will be changed, as you notice here. This symbol here means that you've changed the project file from the original version that you created. It's also noted in your overall project, so you can see here you've made a change. So, we're going to have to open up a new window, a view, and go to Other, because it's not normally available in the typical views, to Git, and to Git Staging. Now, Git Staging is basically, as I said before, this is where you go commit files. So Git, you're basically telling Git that you're preparing these files to be transferred, and that these are definitely ones that are going to be transferred. You've also told Git that I'm aware of the changes and that I'm ready to push them, basically, or getting ready to. So you save it. You then submit your commit submit message. So for example, corrected license, because this is a license file. You have your author name. This will be important for your project diary because it means that you can track absolutely every single change that you can create, and you can create a log file from GitHub that includes every single change and every single commit that everyone has ever done. Now, commit and push basically is you're committing the files in order to file changes have been put into your Git and are ready to be pushed onto the site. A commit is basically doing that without pushing itself. So click this if you're going to be offline, and then click this later on once you're online. Now typically most of you will be online in general, so you'll just click this one anyway. So commit and push. Now we're pushing to the master branch, so we should expect the following changes to occur. Now this is what will pop up once it's successful. Includes the changes you've made, your name, and the random file name associated with that as well. So be okay. That's what we want to see. Now we're going to refresh. 5 commits. Dan corrected license. As you can see, that was from our note that we put in there to commit message and license. And you can see our random string of text was available here. You can see in history the initial commit, the original file. In fact, it covers every single line as well to the accuracy that you can expect that you would need with a track. Literally every single change is recorded by Git. Very, very handy indeed when you're trying to fix up your project diary and you're not sure who did what. And that is how you make a basic push request onto your Git. Pull requests are basically very similar, that when you're merging your two branches together. So master an extra feature. Anyway, thanks for watching, lads, and good luck on the project.